Welcome to the Non-Skinnerian podcast, where we will challenge you not just to think logically, but to think psychologically. Here we dive into the fascinating world of behavioral economics and gamification, uncovering how deep psychological insights can transform the way you design, build, and lead. Welcome back to the Non-Skinnerian podcast, where we explore the deeper principles behind human motivation and engagement. I'm your host Roman Rackwitz, and today's episode is all about a topic that is both simple yet profoundly important in a world obsessed with speed and convenience: the value of invested time. In today's world, many businesses are laser focused on making interactions faster, easier, and more efficient. We see it in customer service, product design, and even in our everyday lives. There's a constant push for things to be as convenient as possible. But there's a hidden cost to all of this convenience. It leaves out the emotional impact of time and effort, which are key to building loyalty, trust, and long-term relationships. Today we'll dive into why invested time and effort are so crucial for creating meaningful connections, not just in business, but also in our personal lives. We'll explore how activities like playing games, pursuing hobbies, and even engaging in projects like building Lego sets highlights the psychological need for effort and challenge. And we'll also touch on how businesses and individuals can tap into the reciprocity effect by investing time into relationships and processes. So let's dive in. Before we talk about business examples, let's think about how invested time plays a role in our personal lives. There's something deeply rewarding about spending time and effort on a challenging task, whether it's mastering a skill, completing a hobby project, or leveling up in a video game. The time we invest creates a sense of ownership, pride, and accomplishment. Take games, for example. Why do millions of people around the world invest hours, sometimes days or even years, playing games? It's not because games are convenient or effortless. In fact, the best games are designed to challenge players, to make them work for their success. That investment of time and effort makes winning or achieving something in the game feel so much better. The same goes for hobbies like painting, woodworking, or building intricate Lego sets. It's the process of working through the challenge that creates the emotional attachment to the activity. Lego, or the bricks itself, they are a great example here. Think about the complexity of some of these sets. The Millennium Falcon, the Taj Mahal, Castle Blaustein. These sets take hours, sometimes even days to complete. But it's precisely that investment of time that makes the final result so rewarding. You've earned it. And Lego and similar companies know that. They have built an entire brand around the idea that effort and time are valuable. That's why they focus on creating sets that challenge their customers rather than making everything easy. They don't just sell plastic bricks. They sell the experience of building, of investing time into something meaningful. And the result? They have one of the most loyal customer bases in the world. Now, let's apply this to business world. Businesses that prioritize convenience and efficiency alone are missing out on an important emotional factor: the value people place on invested time and effort. When customers perceive that a company has taken time to understand them, or when a product requires some level of mastery, it creates a deeper bond between the customer and the brand. Let's look at an example from customer service. Zappos is famous for its customer service. Their agents are not pushed to get through calls quickly. They are encouraged to spend as much time as needed with each customer. Zappos' philosophy is that by investing time into each interaction, they build trust and loyalty. And it works. Customers who feel they have been listened to, understood, and helped without being rushed are far more likely to stay loyal to the brand. Zappos isn't trying to be the fastest. They are trying to be the best at making customers feel valued. And that comes from investing time. This leads us into the concept of reciprocity. When someone invests time and effort in you, whether it's a company, a friend, or a colleague, you feel a natural obligation to give something back. This idea is central to building loyalty both in business and in life. Rory Sutherland, one of the leading voices in behavioral economics, talks about the importance of perceived effort in building trust. When we sense that someone has gone out of their way for us, it creates a psychological bond. We feel compelled to reciprocate that effort in some way, whether that's by staying loyal to a brand, recommending them to others, or simply returning the favor. In business, companies can tap into this effect by investing time into customer interactions. Personalized experiences, thoughtful gestures, and a willingness to go the extra mile all create a sense of effort that builds emotional loyalty. Think about how much more loyalty you feel toward a brand that takes time to understand your needs compared to one that rushes through everything with automation and some points at the end of the selling process. And there exactly lies the paradox. In our rush to make everything faster and easier, we risk losing the emotional connections that time and effort create. When a company focuses too much on speed and convenience, they may win short-term customers, but they risk losing long-term loyalty. Why? Because if everything feels transactional and frictionless, there is no emotional stake in the relationship. Take subscription services, for example. The faster they are at signing people up, the easier it becomes for customers to leave if a competitor offers something even slightly more convenient. But what if that service invested time in building a real relationship with the customer? What if they took the time to ask meaningful questions, to personalize the experience, to make the customer feel that their time and effort are valued, or even let them conquer their product over the time? When businesses focus only on making things faster, they often forget that relationships, whether with customers, employees, or even between colleagues, thrive on effort and engagement. Let's look at another example, Starbucks. It's easy to think of Starbucks as just another coffee chain, but they have invested heavily in creating an experience where customers feel valued. One small example is the way their barista take the time to write your name on your cup. It's a tiny gesture, but it signals that Starbucks is investing just a bit more time and effort into making your experience personal. I've even heard another story from Starbucks. Here baristas were trained in parallel pouring, where they could make 4 different coffees at once. This seems like a good thing, right? Surely customers want their coffee as fast as possible. Except they don't. Receiving a coffee at a record speed changed the experience. The barista's service no longer seemed high-skilled and care-laden. It seemed effortless. And that's a problem because customers value effort. Similarly, Apple stores are designed to encourage people to spend time exploring and asking questions. Apple doesn't rush its customers out the door. Instead, they invite you to spend as much time as you need to play with their products, ask staff for help, and experience the brand in a meaningful way. Apple understands that the time you invest in their store leads to a stronger emotional connections and so also to a stronger emotional connection to their products. Now, let's talk about how you, our listeners, can use this concept of reciprocity in your own lives, whether in business, relationships, or everyday interactions. First, invest time in your relationships. And I really have to take this advice for myself. Whether it's with clients, colleagues, or personal relationships, taking the time to listen, to engage, and to really understand the other person creates a bond that's much stronger than a quick transactional interaction. Next time you are in a meeting or a conversation, resist the urge to rush. Instead, slow down and invest time in truly connecting with the other person. The loyalty and trust you build will be worth far more than any short-term efficiency gains. Second, create personalized experiences. If you are in business, think about how you can create moments that show your customers or clients that you have invested time in them. It could be as sending a personalized message or taking the time to follow up after an interaction. But add value to it. Let them know that you have taken some extra time to think about a thought that you talked about or similar stuff. Don't make it just a personalized message by calling them by name. When people feel like you have put in effort, they are more likely to stay loyal and recommend your service to others. Third, find opportunities to invest effort in personal projects. Whether it's a hobby, a side project, or a skill you're trying to master, embrace the time and effort it takes to reach the goal. No, to reach a goal. Don't make it about the goal itself, make it about the process. The sense of satisfaction and accomplishment you'll get from investing time will be much greater than if you took a shortcut, because the only thing you want to achieve is the goal at the end. By investing time and effort, not only do you create better results, but you also build deeper emotional connections with the people around you. So, there we have it, the hidden power of invested time and effort. In a world that's constantly pushing for more convenience and speed, we need to remember that relationships, loyalty, and meaningful experiences are built on the foundation of time and effort. Whether you're running a business, building a product, or nurturing a personal relationship, investing time into what truly matters will always yield stronger, more lasting connections. Thank you for tuning in to the Non-Skinnerian Podcast. Again, if you found today's episode insightful, don't forget to subscribe and leave us a review. And as always, remember, convenience may be fast, but invested time builds loyalty that lasts. Until next time, stay curious, stay engaged, and stay invested.